You know, trying to lose weight or just trying to eat healthy can be a real challenge for a lot of people. So that's why our next guest says he has come up with 200 different ways to lose a single pound, and he wrote it all down in this book right here. Joining me now is cardiologist Dr. James Beckerman and author of The Flex Diet. It bends so you don't break. And he's going to be teaching us over the course of the hour some recipes in the book that make a lot of sense once you understand why you're putting them into your body. Good to have you. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about this Flex Diet, because let's face it, there are so many different types of diets with claims to improve the health and your waistline as well.
Right. I'm a cardiologist, so I'm all about heart health. And so I thought it was really important to try to give people the message that it's okay to celebrate the fact that you're an individual when it comes to your heart health.
Okay.
Meaning you don't have to eat a specific menu every single day. You don't have to conform to some idea that you can only eat certain things on certain days of the week. There's flexibility. And I want it to be easy for people. The truth is, if I can make healthy, heart-healthy food, anybody can.
Okay, because apparently you're not very, you're good. You're good at heart procedures, but in the kitchen, that's probably not as much of your forte.
Exactly.
But I bet you cut things very well.
Incredibly well, yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about...
Used to wearing gloves, though, so...
Here, we're not going to make
That's right, that's right.
So let's talk a little bit about why this particular meal makes sense from a cardiology perspective.
This is just an easy breakfast of making a parfait. And, you know, I have little kids, 5 and 7 years old, and rather than eating breakfast cereal or a lot of the stuff that's so prepackaged and processed, believe it or not, my 5-year-old, this is his favorite thing to have for breakfast.
Okay.
And so what you notice here that's really important is the idea that we're eating real fruit.
Okay.
It's not processed. And even though a lot of people say, you know, you should be having fruit juice because it has vitamins and stuff like that, I think of fruit juice as like processed fruit when you think about it. You lose a lot of the fiber, you lose a lot of the good stuff that's part of it in the processing. And the other thing that you notice here is we're using Greek yogurt. And why Greek and not regular yogurt? Because Greek yogurt, because it's been strained, has about double the protein content of regular yogurt.
And you like that?
I like that because it helps fill you up a little bit better, and it tends to have less sugar. And you know, some people think it's an acquired taste, but my kids love it. Right. So it's great.
So, as a cardiologist, did you reach a breaking point where you said, enough is enough? I'm seeing kind of epidemic issues of heart health deteriorating, and then you said, I got to do something, so I read a book?
I mean, heart disease is the #1 killer of both women and men, and so I really felt like it was important to be able to put things into a message that people could take in that wouldn't be intimidating, that would be informative and evidence-based. It's really key to go with the medical evidence. And so, you know, the truth is there are no superfoods that are going to totally change your life. But the reality is, when you look at these real foods, blueberries that do have antioxidants, strawberries, yogurt which has protein, healthy cereals and granolas that have fiber, these are the things that are going to make us heart healthy.
So when we start to incorporate this sort of diet, let's say we were to, you know, you're going to encourage us to put the berries in here and kind of mix it all up and make a parfait, I'm guessing. Should we layer?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some strawberries in here just to make a little bit of a base. Throw our blueberries on top of it.
How long, once we start incorporating these sorts of you know, habits and foods into our lifestyle, before we start to see a reversal of perhaps some damage that we've done to our heart and our body?
Well, nothing happens overnight. You know, in the same way Rome wasn't built in a day, you can't break it down in a day either. And so I think that it's important to realize that we're looking at change that's going to be lifelong. And we're not looking for a quick fix, which is just going to help you lose 10 pounds for bikini season. This is about a lifelong investment. And that means it requires a little bit of change in behaviors. It requires a lot of thought. And also communicating with your doctor and seeing what's right for you. Now,
should we be, I mean, how would we know? Because, you know, I think I've heard it said before, perhaps I've read that, you know, heart disease is the silent killer.
That's right.
You know, you don't know that anything's wrong with you because perhaps you're just stressed or you're tired or you're worn down. And the symptoms sort of, you know, they mask themselves. So
they can.
So when should we go and seek out some advice from a cardiologist?
You have to follow your symptoms. You know, if you have chest pain, if you have shortness of breath, if you have any changes in your ability to exercise, that's important. But what a lot of people don't realize, everybody worries about their genetics. You know, my grandpa had heart disease, so I'm doomed.
A lot of people live in fear because of that.
They do. But the reality is that about 80% of our heart disease risk is based upon risk factors that we can control.
That's good news.
Yes. And so when you're in your kitchen this this morning and you're thinking about what to have for breakfast, this is within your control. It doesn't have to come from a box. It doesn't have to come from a prepackaged container. It's something you can make. It's real. It's good for you.
Okay, so we're going to dive into more heart health issues and some delicious recipes as well. But breakfast is served, and this, along with so much more information, is in this book that we're going to continue to learn a little bit more about in our next segment, which is we're going to make what?
We're going to make gallo pinto.
I don't even know what that is.
There you
so
go.
So that's good. I'm going to learn something.